I will now welcome Dr. Unal to please come on stage and share her thoughts with us. Everybody, please let's welcome her with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, distinguished colleagues, and salam alaikum. This week is like a dream for us. This is our first time in Pakistan, and we directly landed to Peshawar, and we spent almost a week, really very productive, and meet lots of colleagues. And I think this will be our anchoring our future collaboration. And when dear ICOMOS Pakistan Chair Farouzia gave me a call when I was in Istanbul and asked to come to Islamabad, I thought that I need to catch that opportunity. And I would like to thank you for Institute of Architect Pakistan, Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter, and Chairman Kaber Malik, and I think we have sponsors, GreenTech, for providing this opportunity. Today I will try to give a brief information who is ICOMOS family. Yeah, please. Yes. Probably many of you know, but maybe give a very short information about. Probably you will remember that ICOMOS was established after the Venice Charter in 1964 during the World Architects Congress, and in Warsaw in 1965. Then Secretariat moved to Paris later. And sorry, you can. Yeah. And as you know, according to World Heritage Convention, UNESCO has three advisory body. First one is the ICOMOS, International Council of Monuments and Sites, is responsible from the architectural heritage. It was actually, now is responsible also of tangible and intangible heritage. IUCN is responsible from the natural heritage, and as you know, ICOMOS is responsible from all training activities. What is the difference between ICOMOS and ICROM? ICOMOS and IUCN is directly responsible from choosing the World Heritage sites, and ICOMOS only responsible from trainings. Yeah, please. It looks like we are a small family, but we are a big family during the time. Right now, I think this was last year numbers, more than 10,000 members, around 114 countries, and these are individual members, and also we have 320 institutional members, and we have 110 national committee and 28 scientific committee. This is from the last advisory committee meeting. Maybe I can give you, without make you so much bored, and short information about how the system works. ICOMOS lead all the projects or all the activities throughout to national committees. These 110 national committees usually established under the Ministry of Culture of each country, but as you know, 2015 in Florence, the first article of the guideline is changed. Now it's written that ICOMOS is a non-governmental organization. We have quite hybrid establishment because when we established in many countries in 1960s, we all had one anchor to the our Ministry of Culture or Ministry of Antiquities, But right now, slow by slow, many countries start to re-establish the system according to NGO mechanism. Why this is important? Maybe you can see how big this family. This is from the last year election. Almost 1,000 people joined this election. And our president, Gustavo Arauz, 9 years. It was very productive 9 years, and leave the seat to our new chairman from Japan, Toshiyuki Kono. And the system works as a board mechanism. We have 20. Each continent presented from one member, and we have 4 chairpersons. In this term, one is from Brazil, one is from India, one is from France. And okay, if you look at what is the ICOMOS core business, actually our first core business, give a World Heritage advice as an advisory bodies. And we are doing professional membership and meetings. Each year, one country hosting the advisory committee meeting. And every 3 years, we have a triennial meetings, and this is the election time for us. And each year at advisory committee meetings, we also have a scientific symposium, and we are dedicating the subject each year according to the problem of the worldwide problem of the protecting cultural heritage. Like last 3 years is this year, next month, we will be in Argentina for the advisory committee meeting. Sustainability will be our subject. And the last year, India, our subject was heritage and democracy. And the year before, our subject is the reconstruction in post-trauma situation. And okay, what we are doing, we are trying to doctor in the development by expert as an international standards. And in many national committees and also international board, lead research project. And when we have all the research, we are trying to open access to all around the world. That when you access to our website, you can reach many publications for free in PDF format. Then you can use them. And one of the most important things is heritage advocacy, like Risk Observatoire, Heritage Alerts, and Google Hidden Alert. I will give the explanation. And many countries right now, especially southeast part of the world, and especially Arab countries and Latin American countries, have some problem with big disasters and also the conflict. In this term, ICOMOS is monitoring this situation and bring all problems to the UNESCO committees. And when we monitor the situation, our monitoring is quite different than the UNESCO's monitoring. As you know, UNESCO is a intergovernmental organization. Therefore, in case of any disaster or the conflict, they cannot move to area easily due to their construction. But we, as ICOMOS members, we are working voluntary base. Therefore, we are so free to move to that area, collect the information, and bring to Secretariat and share with everyone. That's one of our biggest mission. Because of that, you see what's happened in Syria, North Iraq, and many other countries like has a conflict because of our members were working in the area for bringing the information. Okay, if we look at what is our responsibilities in World Heritage, system is working like this. Every year, Paris Secretariat announced to all national committees that who will be if you feel that you are eligible for being a jury at the World Heritage Committee for inventorying the dossier for the candidate of World Heritage sites, and Secretariat and the board choosing these experts and giving the dossiers. We are trying to share the dossiers, the closer cultures, because they can understand easily another cultures, and the dossier doesn't go to the candidate's country. And this give ICOMOS a big power for choosing the World Heritage sites. It's quite tough responsibility, because you need to reach more than like 1,000, 2,000 pages and evaluate the form, and you need to go to the site sometimes. Sometimes, like in some countries in conflict areas, we do not do the mission in the countries, we are doing the desk review. And if you look at the comparison between ICOMOS recommendation, World Heritage Commission, and the decisions, yellow ones show the ICOMOS recommend as World Heritage sites, and the World Heritage Committee's decisions show the pink one. Sometimes, like inscription, if you come back, if inscription, sometimes we are not think the same. ICOMOS quite, they say that quite picky, but we need to do, because we are not political organizations. Therefore, we are evaluate all the dossier in objectively. Yeah. If you look at the, can we come back one? Yeah. If you look at the refer, and it's the minor change, it's equal, and for the deferral, ICOMOS differ more than the World Heritage Committee, and non-inscribed ICOMOS has a big difference. We are not always agree about that. Without any commitment, refuse the dossier, World Heritage Committee is on the up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One back. If you look at that, who examined the dossier from ICOMOS members, almost equal in each continent. Only the Europe, North America quite high from the others, because they have more dossier than the other countries and the other continents. Yeah. The system is working like that. Sometimes ICOMOS recommend to check the dossier, and in this term, national committee members or international committee members give a support for re-evaluating their dossier and organize according to the new approach for applying to be a candidate. Yes. But all the actually declarations and the scientific experts is not only take place in the national committees, but international scientific committees. And ICOMOS has 28 international scientific committees. Each one is dedicated to one specific subject. If you are working on the heritage field, and if you want to concentrate on one area, we recommend, after you be a member of your national committee, if your national committee agree to give your name to the international scientific committee, please choose your international scientific committees in early times, because all the publications, declarations, all the things are take place in the international scientific committees. Every 3 years they are changing their boards, and every year on the advisory committee meetings they also have meetings. They also have separate international conferences, and how we met with my colleagues, Mirwali, on those conferences, because specific targeted problems are we have a chance to discuss about the specific problems. And the committee that I work I'm right now acting as a Secretary General, International Scientific Committee on Risk Preparedness. What is our prime concern? We are monitoring, reporting, and doing the preventive measure, strategic, tactic, and operational in which sites? And all heritage sites. Yes. This scientific committee is established in 1999. Maybe you can figure out from why it's established in 1999, just after the Bosnian War. Because after World War II, it was we call silent times these times. We didn't lose too much heritage. But during the Bosnian War, dramatic change, not only because of the number, but also you will remember that the Mostar Bridge, how it's bombed and destroyed. That was one of the first examples that all media witnessed. It is not collateral damage, but targeted distraction. And this committee therefore established, each committee actually established after one dramatic event because of the needs. And we have 82 professionals from 37 countries. Our scientific committee is one of the biggest one. And what we, our members profile, we have an architect, engineer, urban planner, art historian, restorator. And now, unfortunately, we have a counterterrorism expert and a security expert in our team, because therefore, actually, last year's scientific symposium's subject was chosen as a heritage and democracy, because due to the latest events, many people have no access to the heritage sites due to the security reasons, but this is one of the right in the democracy. You have a right to reach, to touch to your culture, touch to your root. You should not lose that. Therefore, last two expert portfolio is joined to us. Yes. Okay. We have many projects. We divided these projects according to two times. In silent times, I mean, if there is no disaster, no emergency situation, no terrorist attack, no sudden things, we are working in the scheduled projects. These are training. We are giving a training. This is all voluntary basis. Like if you think that you need a training, disaster risk management on cultural heritage, you just need to apply to our scientific committee, and the board is evaluate this application, and we just come to your country and give the training course for free. And we have disaster risk management projects, and we have meetings in case of any problem. Also, we are doing more meetings related according to the seriousness of the issue, and we have publications that you can reach from our website, that publications. But during the emergency, our system is quite working different than the other scientific committees, because other committees has no emergency issue. Only ISCARSA actually, they are working for the historical construction in times of, especially the earthquake. They are joining to us because they are good at shoring the structures. They are joining to our team. Okay, in case of any emergency, like any, especially just during the disaster, we have a disaster alert. We directly, we have a connection with OSOC, On-Site Operation Command Center of United Nations System. Around like 5-6 minutes, we are receiving the alert all around the world. If any disaster took place, we are receiving an alert. We directly try to reach our friends in that country and start to monitoring the situation. If is there any immediate help needed in that area after the search and rescue or the evacuation operation is finalized, our team is moving to there for helping to our friends. Because when you have a disaster, even you have a big capacity, due to the trauma, you cannot activate your capacity easily. These groups just join and help to the colleagues to activate the capacity. If the disaster is big, sometimes unfortunately we are losing our colleagues. Like last 5 years, I'm working for the Syria, and when we start to give a training to our friends, it's so sad to say that we almost lose half of them right now. They are not alive anymore. And yes, and yeah, may I? Okay. We are giving a hand the salvage rescue, shoring, and we are giving a training in emergency. Like a month later, we are moving to site. And is there any emergency training needs? We are providing that capacity. And also post-disaster needed assessment. And now it's changed. Like 10 years ago, we were doing the damage assessment, and now it's changed to situation assessment, need assessment, then damage assessment, because we have no time to do the very detailed damage assessment. When you do that, you are losing precious time for doing the, in medical it's called triage. If you have a big problem in the area, you need to choose which one has the priority for response. We are giving that services, yes? Also in conflict areas, we are monitoring the situation, and we are using the instruments of La Hague Convention, and some countries giving a training to their army, police force, and also search and rescue groups and humanitarian aid groups. In case of any emergency, if they deploy to area, how they treat the World Heritage Sites or the heritage sites for the important for the that country, according to La Hague Conventions, articles related with protecting cultural heritage in times of disaster and conflict. Yes? Okay. Some part is not clear. This guy is one of the leaders of the terrorist groups in Timbuktu, Mali, attacked the World Heritage Sites, and they destroyed all the heritage sites, and they not only give a damage to the building, but also priceless manuscripts was burned because of that attack. And this is the first time Roma's statute of the criminal court, Article 8 is acted, and get a punishment because of this. It can be seen as not so important, but this is important. This is the first time against the cultural heritage crime get a penalty. Yes? Okay. 3 weeks ago, we have a new improvement and probably the starting of the new relationship. I'm happy to inform you that I think this will be the first time that officially announcing. And okay, if any disaster or any problem take place, we have a 3 ring for a response. The operational links we call also that is I forgot the name of the material. Copper, okay. And also hot zone. And the second one is tactical silver, warm zone, and the strategic gold zone. All the operations take place in hot zone, but usually due to our training and capacities as an heritage expert is not allowed to be in the site. We figure out that we are losing too much heritage in the first couple hours, like say in 72 hours, because of the sometimes unnecessary intervention to the heritage areas. Yes? Therefore, UNESCO, as you know, UNESCO has a preparedness and response unit. Giovanni Boccardi is leading that unit, but this unit do not do any operation, just work on the capacity buildings last 5 years. But this year, 3 weeks ago, we had a call from the INSARAC, OCHA INSARAC. OCHA On-Site Operation Command Center is responsible from moving to country who has a disaster and start to operate the humanitarian aid like search and rescue and all humanitarian aid like food and medicine. And they give us invitation to UNESCO that how we can collaborate in the first response phase. On that, because like human rescue in Sarak, USAR teams, USAR means urban search and rescue teams, groups, and they are working for human rescue. And the emergency medical groups, World Health Organization is leading that system. And emergency medical teams are on the site during emergency. But there is no heritage expert on site during the emergency, like for shoring, for rescuing their staff from the heritage buildings. Sometimes museums also in big danger on this stage and need help. And now in heritage and emergency, UNESCO decided to create a response unit. We are just starting actually. What we are planning, first, USAR teams, if disaster hit the area, is the heritage area, do not know the area's features. But UNESCO, all ICOMOS, national committees has this kind of information like building types and the construction types and the plans and the sections. This is priceless. You can save more life when you have that kind of information. First, probably we will share this information, and then we will join to their operations and just check the situation related with the heritage areas. Then when the humanitarian operations is finalized, we will move the area to create the first capacity. Why is important? Because many countries in this part of the world, heritage areas is the first economic income for the countries. They need to keep that capacity and put in back as early as possible. Yes? Yes, this is our new collaboration. You can follow from ICOMOS website what's going on. Yes? Yes. Okay. One of the biggest problem right now, every day, like this speech will take 30-35 minutes, I hope, and one person leave their homes involuntarily. We say forcibly displaced people. Right now, this number is 25.6 million. This is last year number actually, UN explained that number. And this is mostly safety and security reasons, and is like a snowball, rounding snowball, bigger and bigger. During the World War II, that number was 20 million. Yes. And they not only remove from the site, remove from the heritage areas, they also lose the connection with their roots. That is the most important thing. Yes. And unfortunately, these photos is taken from the Aegean coast. Is very close to our country. How they, when we saw that photo, we thought that's Photoshop, but it is not, because I'm from the border country, a border city in that area has a border to the Gaziantep, has a border to the Syria. They just during the attack, they just remove and try to pass to Turkish border like that. It's incredible number, and it's so sad to say that they are not a refugee. Only like, we have almost 5 million right now in Turkey, only 1 million refugee. It means that they have no right for health facility, training, and safety. That's a big problem. We need to create the capacity as soon as possible for bringing them back to their country, to their safety. Yes? Okay. According to Sustainable Development Goals, the Goals 11 and Goals 17 is meet with our interest, safe cities, and the collaboration. Okay. The most important things in terms of any emergency situation, people always ask the same questions. In emergency, which value is important? Like, we first respond to museum objects because of they are so valuable, touristic destination because we have come from there, part of daily life. In Nepal, they are not only touristic area, but also it's a very important part of the daily life. And you need to think about that, not only one, but it can be a whole holy place. And which value we need to protect, yes? And the big problem is, I don't know if, is there any engineer? No? Okay. One? Okay. You can go out, I will say something. Okay. And we need to balance safety and the value of the heritage. Okay. We had a research, and our engineers were with us. And after the research, according to their calculation, Hagia Sophia is already collapsed, actually, because they want to be everything is safe. And when we are doing the invention to something, like doing the retrofitting, repairing, what is the degree of the intervention we need to decide very carefully during an emergency times, because we cannot get back that. Yes. And the most important things, what is the motive of the community? Because think about when you have your personal disaster, like your personal disaster, you can lose someone you love. This can be your personal disaster. You can lose your job. You can lose your money. You can lose your girlfriend or boyfriend. This can be your personal disaster. What you do, okay? Okay, you can cry, ask your family members, but you need a pattern. How others act after this kind of disappointment or failure. If you know that, okay, this is just after the BAM earthquake. If you know that your culture is created this, you can look and come back and continue to do the same. But if you lose this, you will never have a memory back. And this is a collective memory that reminds your culture once they could able to create that beauty. Yes. And now we need to decide which memory we want to hold for our culture. We need to decide. We want to high-rise buildings and not respectful to the life and the natures and the other people's life, or to balance the new and old together. Yes? Okay, I think I need to come to that. Maybe you can hold that. It works? Yes. This is a video.
Could you please tell me briefly what your heart feels when you see all this damage to these beautiful buildings with so much history?
I'm so overwhelmed because this is what we identify ourselves as our Nepalese, with the rich heritage and culture and everything, but this is what is tangible, you know, this is what the other world sees. And seeing this, and we were like, people are grown up with this surroundings, and when you see this, it's like, you cannot like define, and I feel so sad seeing all this, and oh, it's heartbreaking.
Do you think it will be rebuilt?
Yeah, of course, but I don't know if it will ever be the same, because the heritage and the construction materials, if it's documented rightly, then maybe it will, but I don't know.
Yes, this was taken 3 days after the disaster in Nepal. Our team was in there. They just finished the search and rescue operation, and we asked them to remove the area to take the first photographs for documenting the damage at the heritage. These ladies explained very well that what they lose. As a search and rescue team member, I've been in many operations. What we are trying to do, we are trying to save the lives. Sometimes we cannot, actually. But if we cannot, we are staying with them till they pass away, because they should not die alone in the debris. This is the same for the cultural heritage. They should not be alone, because they already having trauma, and for overcome they need a help from others. In Nepal case, after we received that video, because I've been in many international search and rescue operations, I also witnessed the many ideas that they brought just after the disaster, like that. But you know, we are few people on the site doing the rescue, and this is only stay in our mind, or sometimes we tell this story to our students or to our colleagues, but it's not reached to many people. Then we thought that maybe we should tell this story, inspiring stories, because these people didn't choose to be a victim. They say that, okay, we became a victim, but we do not want to continue like that. They just stand up with a dignity and continue to their life. As 2 days ago I said, UNESCO understands very well this situation, and for celebrating this, just 2 months after the disaster, they removed Kathmandu Valley from World Heritage List to World Heritage in Danger List. It seems like positive, but if you check the UNESCO's records, you will not see that if you remove your World Heritage List from Danger List, they do not provide too much support. If they remove from that list to the Danger List, they need to provide the financial and the technical support. Luckily, they figured out that they made a mistake, and last year in the 42's committee meeting, 42's committee meeting in Krakow, and they lead the honor back to Nepal, and they celebrate, because they are, eyewitnesses, they are spending, like Professor explained, incredible effort. Okay, success cannot be credit according to the how much they are successful. Success must be credited according to the effort also. They spend enormous effort for that. Then ICOMOS, decided to bring all of the this kind of stories all around the world, and we started the documentary of these stories. Yes. Okay, that is this year. We announced on the website like that, and we invite everyone to follow the ICORP on the Road project. That's my office, actually. Very untidy office. And we choose the countries and the subjects. And these are the red dots, indicates the areas that we are planning to visit, yes. And right now, we are targeting the 11 countries, 20,000 kilometers, and 11 episodes. And we started in April with Nepal, yes. That's our small team, actually. And people are usually think that ICOMOS is supporting this project, but it's not self-sponsored. It started self-sponsored from the pocket money. And yes, that's our second office, that's Rohit Shigyasu, president of ICOMOS ICORP. Yes. And this is our another voluntary team, like each episode, $15,000 US actually. This team is voluntarily giving giving us support. This is a production company. We are also traveling all around the world, telling the stories. This is one of them, is in Bursa. We are trying to reach the young generation, actually. That's our target. In this project, our target is young generation. How we are thinking the system works. When we decide to make the documentary for the country, we are directly contact the ICOMOS National Committee. And if National Committee thinks that they have a good story to tell, we are asking help for the logistic, actually, which area, how we can reach the area, with whom we can meet. And we are requesting to join their young team members, young professionals, emerging professionals to our team and do the documentary, give us a hand. And like the ICOMOS expert also join to that journey, then you know, you can have a good chat on the journeys, informal but very informative. And actually, we were not expecting, we did not actually put on a media. First episode is just a trailer. Right now is on the UNESCO's website, ICOMOS websites, and recently, yes, in one day we hit 700 views in when we show in ICROM conference. It is not so big, but it's big because we can reach more people. Yes. Okay. It seems that more fun, but in fact it's not so much fun because we have a limited money. We are using usually the charters, yes, and working at the airports. Our record is actually 19 hours at the airports. We need to stay there, another flight and another flight. And good things is, yes, this is my research assistant and the guys at the back. You know, men are more asleep than the women. Yes, we can stop in that. Yeah, we can stop in that. Now, yeah. We can stop. But with that slideshow.
In 2015, a major earthquake struck near the sacred Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. About 9,000 people lost their lives. Almost 22,000 were injured, and all of the survivors had their homeland destroyed. In 6 different World Heritage Sites of the Kathmandu Valley, structures that carry the memory of a nation, that host ancient rituals which make up everyday living for its residents, were lost. ICOMOS ICOR presents ICOR on the Road. Episode 1. Reconnecting the Sacred Valley, Kathmandu.
Actually preparing for the earthquake, and we spent quite a few years even before, since every 80 to 100 years we have these larger earthquakes taking place. It seems to be very difficult to prepare for an earthquake.
I saw they came with the bulldozer and trucks, and I rushed down and asked them, request them not to use the bulldozer, and they agreed that. And we have like more than 300 police, army, armed police force, like all in the square. So everything was like sorted out and picked in like 10, 11 days.
Really, that 72 hours is very, very important, not only for the human beings, but also for the cultural heritage and other, sometimes for the natural heritage as well, because in the natural heritage also, there are many kinds of the animals due to the disaster that would be most important for them as well.
Do you think it will be rebuilt?
Yeah, of course. But I don't know if it will be the same.
We still have such artisans who are able to really understand these structures, and possibly one of the lessons is we have to get them to be the ones who ensure this continuity, and they also have that knowledge.
ICOMOS ICORP on the Road is bringing you the inspiring stories of post-disaster response and recovery of cultural heritage from local communities and professionals who have already experienced the worst and survived. So you too know what happens, how it happens, and how you keep on going.
त्यो कारणले पहिला हामीले एउटा सस्टेनको लागि एउटा मोनुमेन्ट पनि पहिला तयार गर्नु पर्यो, त्यसपछि चाहिँ हामीले अरु कुरा गर्न सक्छौँ।
म त यस्तै उत्कार्बिन काष्ठकला सम्बन्धी काम यो मेरो पुर्खौली पेसा हो। मेरो बाजे बराजुदेखि आएर चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म यही पेसामा म लगायत मेरो छोराहरूलाई पनि मैले यस्तै सिकाउँदै छु।
म यहाँ काम गरेको चाहिँ महासमितिमा काम गरेको 6-7 वर्ष भयो। यो मन्दिरमा काम गरेको मलाई धेरै खुसी छु। बेस भारी बोके पनि एकदम मलाई खुसी छु। मन्दिरमा काम गरेको पनि धेरै
You never ever want to think that the worst could happen to you, but what happens if it does? Do you just stop living, caring, believing, or simply let it vanish from collective memory?
This is my first actually experience in directing the documentary. Third episode, this is actually, it's quite easy because we were on the earthquake disaster. Third episode will be in Timbuktu, Mali. Our team, unfortunately, we will not continue with this team because of the area is so risky. Ladies will be stay at home, and only the protection detail, cameraman and I will go. Because the stories take place in the Timbuktu and the terrorist attack, and the brave people who saved the manuscripts accept to give the interview how they saved that manuscripts. And actually 2 days ago we get the last permission from UNESCO Bamako office, and we thought that if they are brave enough to save during the hot times, we thought that we pretend to be brave to make the filming, and we are hoping to finish the filming in December. Do you know, I think last video? Okay, this is our team, and and we are expecting a good story from Pakistan, and we have already good potential, I think, for creating the team. And if you have a good story to share with the world, and each episode will be 21 minutes, but all the interview videos, almost each of them 30 minutes, and we will put on a website for all heritage experts and the students who wanted to work on the disaster risk management on cultural heritage as free. This will be the last episode that we will do voluntarily. Probably we will not stand after that. In the fourth episode, we will sell to the TV channel, and we will continue like that. We already get an offer from the TV channel, and we are hoping to finish in a year. And okay, this is the story. And again, thank you very much for providing us an opportunity to bring our works and sharing with you. Thank you.
We are short in time.